So you would like to know how to prepare Jackoboard, or Wediboard as it's sometimes known, for mosaics. Well, you're in the right place. I'm Helen Miles and I'm here to teach you all the tips and tricks you need to make mosaics. I'm going to show you how to prepare Jackoboard or Wediboard for mosaic. Jackoboard and Wediboard are manufacturers' names for a compressed foam board which is used to line bathrooms. You can see the foam in there. It's great for mosaics as it's lightweight, it's waterproof and it's easy to put hanging fittings into. And what I'm going to show you in this video is how to cut the board as well as to put the hanging fittings on it and prepare it before you start mosaicing. For the purposes of this video, I'm assuming that you're going to be using the board to make a direct method mosaic with tile adhesive thinset. And you should also know that the board comes in different thicknesses, and this one and the one I tend to use is 12mm thick. So the first thing we're going to do is look at the materials you need to prepare your Wediboard or Jackoboard. So to cut it, you'll need a metal ruler, a Stanley knife or a utility knife, and a pen, and also a surface that doesn't mind getting scratched. So this is just a bit of old melamine I put on top of my desk. For the hanging fittings, you're going to need a thin instrument to poke a hole in the Jackoboard. I use the end of one of these dental picks that I recommend you buy. If you want a bit more information about essential tools for making mosaics, then please check out my previous video on the 5 essential tools to make mosaics, which I'll link in the description below. One of those very thin screwdrivers would work fine for this as well. All you're doing is poking a hole. Then you need two 4mm T-nuts, 2 picture hanging D-rings, 2 screws and 2 6mm washers. And now to prepare the board you will need sticky fiberglass mesh tape, some scissors, some pre-prepared thinset tile adhesive. If you need to know how to make the thinset, then just follow the link in the description below, and an old credit card or loyalty card to spread it. Let's start by cutting the board. Now this board comes in quite large sheets. I think if I remember correctly they're over 2 meters high and 60 centimeters across. So when you buy them from the tile supplier, you'll probably need to cut them down. So cutting them is a very simple process because it's just a very soft board. So you take your pen or pencil, mark a line where you want to cut it along the ruler, then take your utility knife and run it along that line gently. So you're scoring the surface of the board. So run it repeatedly along the line and you'll feel your knife going into the board. But you don't want to saw at it. You just want it to split gently. So I think that's enough times. You can see where I've cut it, and then bend it and it will split. Now we're going to put the hanging fittings into the Jackoboard. You need to do this before you start mosaicing. So you measure where you want the hanging fittings to go. So for this one I'll do, let's say that's about 4 centimeters down, and 4 centimetres across, and just put little points. Then you take your thin instrument and press it through the board. You see it goes quite easily through, all the way to the other side. So now you've got nice clean holes that you can see straight through to the other side of the board. And you take your T-nuts, which have these little spiky things which will grip onto the board. So you put them over the hole. So these T-nuts are going to be on the front of your mosaic, so you're going to be mosaicing over them, and you just press them into the board. So you don't need that much pressure, you just want those little grippy things to get a hold of the board. You then turn your board over, so you're now looking at the back of the board. You take a screw and feed it through the D-ring. There it goes. Then you take your washer and just manually feed your screw through the hole so it catches the T-nut on the other side. And just turn it a few times until you can feel it catch. So once you've got it in there, take your screwdriver and start to tighten it. Oops, very slowly. So this is very soft, the board, and you don't want to tighten it too much so that the T-nut comes through. So what you're aiming for is for this T-nut to be flush with the board, because you're going to be mosaicing over it. So let's do a few more turns of the screwdriver, very slowly, very gently, keeping my finger on the T-nut on the other side. Oh, and I think I've done it actually. I think I'm ready. I'm just going to do one more half turn. There we go. So now the T-nut is flush. So do that on the other side, and you've got your hanging fittings ready. And obviously you just feed your hanging wire through the 2 D-rings. So if you were planning just to use the board as a base for a direct method mosaic with glue, then you're good to go. I'll talk about that method and how to make a direct method mosaic with glue and grout in a later video. But let's, as I said before, we're assuming that you're going to use tile adhesive. So we're going to now prepare the edges of the board. So you take your sticky fiberglass tape and cut a length, the same length as your board. And just lay it along the edge. So that you can wrap it around. So this is just to protect the edges, just to give them a little bit more solidity. And you carry on doing that around the 4 edges. now you want to prepare some thinset. Don't forget to watch my other video about how to make thinset adhesive for mosaics, and add some pigments if you want to make it a different colour other than the white that it comes in. So you take some of the thinset with your loyalty card, and then you spread it evenly over the surface of the board, covering up those D-rings. You're just laying a thin layer that you're going to mosaic over. So cover up those meshed edges. And cover the whole board with a layer of the adhesive. And don't forget to do the edges. So I just tend to use my finger for this point. I find it much easier. So just run your finger along the edge of the board, making sure you cover up the mesh. So there you have it, how to prepare Jackoboard or Wediboard for mosaic. You just leave your board to dry at that point and you're ready to go, and you can start mosaicing. Have fun. If you like this not this mosaic, well, if you do like this mosaic, that's nice. But if you like this video and you'd like to see more, then please subscribe below.